Chapter 47, Part 1, Branwell.
I wake up feeling another needle in my arm, and I desperately try, when I realize what it is, to block away my panic, numb the pain I'm now aware of, and go back to sleep. Maybe this will be the night. Not the worst way to go, in your sleep. Except, my body feels kind of stronger where the needle is. It's not as thick as the others. I think I hear a voice, and I involuntarily cough, and then I feel the needle leave my body, and it actually really stings. I both cough again and yelp at the same time, and try my best to suck in air. I see several faces looking down at me, and none of them I recognize. Is this the group to hold me down and drown me? Wait, that one. That's McSweeney. Him and his smile is unmistakable. "You're okay, Branwell," says a hippo with a similar color and build to him. McSweeney is the one to help me up. I rub my eyes, do more coughing, and I realize I'm in the back of some stuffy van. And come to think of it, I do recognize the lizard, who was in the diving equipment. It all comes back to me, how I was saved by these people. After I emerged from what was maybe minutes underwater, I just collapsed from, I guess, relief. But maybe pure fear as well. You all saved me, I say weakly. Thank you. I cough again. "Take it easy," says a small turtle. "My scans show a very low blood level, and anyone would feel dehydrated after being asleep for a whole day. Even if nutrients have been pumped into your blood, you were quite famished." "Yeah, I agree. I have lost quite a bit, and I don't even have much to begin with." "Wait, a day?" "That's how long you've been asleep," says the raccoon. I come to accept this when the reality of escaping actually sinks in, and what this means for... "My parents, where are they?" "They're safe," says McSweeney reassuringly, "but you're not going to find them at home." What? "First and foremost," says the turtle, "water, then proper introductions. Lastly, you and us will spill some beans." "And there's a truckload of beans needin' spilling, young milkbone," says the lizard. Once I'm up and about, a good chunk of me introducing myself is spent with McSweeney and me sharing an embrace. It's probably weird looking, like a sumo wrestler in love with his teddy bear, but I owe McSweeney my life for protecting me in prison and saving me from drowning, and if he enjoys this, then I'm nothing but grateful. Apparently someone else on the team who isn't here right now, an Interpol officer undercover for us, did something kind of behind my back. After I was rescued and we returned to land, she used her credentials to bring officers to the underground boat garage where I was kept, and she got footage of me unconscious and rescued. The turtle, who goes by Bentley, said I was not immediately brought back to the police because she and the rest of the gang wanted to ask questions before speculation and outside spin would make my story both public and up for debate. When I asked the wording of gang, Sly Cooper introduced himself. I could feel my eyes half leaving the cover of my lids. I'd read a lot about Sly Cooper and his gang. It also came as a shock that this meant I was being introduced to a gang. And if it were found out that I discovered anything that could lead to the arrest, and I kept quiet, I could be criminally charged. Again. But that worrisome side of me has really run its course since the Silvios did what they did. After everyone introduced themselves, this officer returned, and I then recognized her as the one who seemed rather matter-of-fact when she took McSweeney over to his trial. I was defiant towards her. Come to think of it, I recognize the turtle and the hippo now. I was so nervous about the possibility of McSweeney no longer here because I'd learned to really depend on him that I didn't really acknowledge the others who came to give McSweeney support. I was too scared, and after all that has happened to me, I now fully know I was justified. I took notice this officer saw Sly and conspicuously turned away from him, with Sly returning the acknowledgement by looking down at his shoes. Dimitri asked what happened when she went in with that video, and she said she got a lot of heat for bringing anonymously shared footage of me being rescued. But it was enough proof for a small army of Interpol officers to raid Roger's business and discover where I was kept. Loads of my DNA were there and everything. I look at the video sent, and I am shocked with how dead I seem in it. If I was that skinny and pale, I must still look that way at least a little. It's only been a day, nutrients pumped into me or not. "The press outlets picked up this story and it's gone viral," explains Carmelita. All of a sudden, I feel fairly sick again, but I know I need to hear this, as blunt as her tone might be. You're the top story, Mr. Mapperson. I am sorry. This got out of my control when a journalist who is friends with the tops at Interpol broadcasted the video. Now I really feel if I had anything in me, I'd puke it up. I try to find the good in this. Yes, the good. Roger's business got raided. The authorities found proof I was captive down there. They must have seen the cage. This is great news. He's going to jail. This is actually incredible news. And after everything, karma's gonna get him. But what does this mean for me? This is gonna make my investigation into him seem puny. All he's built his entire life and all he has to live for, I may have plunged a knife into the entire thing. Where are my parents? I decided to ask again. For their safety, to avoid harassment, we're keeping them in hiding with a friend of a member of Cooper's gang. They'll be fine. I grin, and she catches it. For now, she lays into me. So they'll be okay? For now. But they'll remain okay, right? I insist. This is all my fault, and I don't want them to go through any more. They've gone through so much pain and torture because of me. I sob. Listen, Branwell Mapperson, she says with a professional manner I find uneasy. We've gone to a lot of trouble to free you after you were smuggled out of prison, which you were in for arson. What landed you in for 15 years was the eyewitness testimony of 4 neighbors who saw you walking around the backyard of the Silvio's house with gasoline and then setting it ablaze with the intent to kill. I go pale. Is that right? Carmelita, says Murray, concerned. I need to get to the bottom of this, she says sternly, holding up her hand in his direction. She turns back to me. We need to know the truth. There's a lot more going down here than you may think. I snort. Uncharacteristic of me, but, oh, believe me, I know there's something up. First and foremost, I need to know the truth. We need to know the truth. Did you try and burn down that house with Roger Silvio, Ambera Silvio, and their son, Clifton? I look towards McSweeney. With a pitying look, he nods his head once. I take a deep breath. I did. No one speaks for a second. So, Carmelita, her name is apparently, keeps at it. The report said you were mad with the Silvios, Roger in particular, because you were doing an investigation into their business deals at admissions data. They retaliated by smearing your name and firing your parents from their job. I was enraged. People in high power were sending us letters from attorneys, threatening to sue us till we had to give away every penny we could somehow earn after. We lost our friends. I had to drop out of school, and I one day overheard them laughing about it. Still, arson is a serious thing to do, and this sort of crime would bring an investigation that could easily be tied to you with your history with them. And you told me specifically back in prison you were framed. I don't have an immediate comment for that. I lost my temper. Really, really badly. Carmelita processes this. Do you feel bad about it now? I look her in the eye, wondering what she's implying. My intention at the time was to burn down their house, but not kill them or their son. I set the fire in a way that was allowing them to escape through their front door. I only meant to scare them and take away their valuable home. I look away from Carmelita. All I wanted to do was look into a rumor and do an investigative piece, but that man took away my dream, my parents' job, and our sanity. Apparently I turned into a psycho, to hurt a psycho. Okay, says Bentley. Thank you for telling us all this. Now, for the stuff probably less daunting, may I, Carmelita? She nods and walks away. To be honest, I'm glad she's not looking at me right now. So then, Branwell, from what we know, you just disappeared from Heathrow about a week ago. How did you end up Roger's prisoner? I take another deep breath. After dinner one night, I had kind of a headache, so I decided just to turn in for the night early. I then slept apparently so heavily, I woke up in the back of a nailed wooden box. I cried for help, but no one answered. Then I came face to face with Roger's security guard, and he took me underneath into that cage. I'll never forget the evil grin he had. Hard to believe he could ever be a father. Where is he now? I asked. On the run, grunts Carmelita. He escaped us. Pretty cleverly, adds Bentley. Cleverly how? Hearing that he actually got caught doing what he did to me and is now on the run is honestly the best news I've heard in my life. But as long as he's still out there, he and his evil smile feel right next to me.